I thought I had beat it. The first thought when they tell you, it's malignant is, are my kids going to grow up without a mom?
But I love you this much, he said.
You have to take care of yourself, even as a cancer supporter and a caregiver, in this case with my wife. I need to be able to go out and have that release of running on a trail or hammering through the water or attacking a hill on a bike, that type of a thing. It's my outlet.
I don't think that a lot of people realize the resources that we have here in Kansas City. It's another chance, and it's another opportunity to buy as much time as you can.
Welcome to Be Part of the Cure. I'm Bill Curtis. This is a television event with a message so important. All 4 local network television stations have agreed to air this program at the same time. This hasn't been done in Kansas City for 20 years, and I'm proud to be back close to home to be a part of a cause which is deeply personal to me. Over the next half hour, we're going to tell you about National Cancer Institute designation. You'll hear us call it NCI designation for short, and the University of Kansas Cancer Center's quest to achieve it. Why is NCI designation important to our region, to you personally? Well, it's simple. More cutting-edge treatments closer to home, more jobs, and more money for our region's economy. NCI designation comes at great sacrifice from the men and women who have devoted their lives to finding a cure. It also means great hope for our patients. We're not there yet, and we need your help, because it takes all of us working together to be part of the cure, to earn this distinction at the University of Kansas Cancer Center. As the men and women we're going to introduce can tell you, NCI designation at KU Cancer Center might one day save your life.
I absolutely think my mom has saved my life. Definitely.
This is Maureen McDaniel, a busy mother of 3 in Overland Park, in many ways leading an ordinary suburban life, but she was living with a fear.
And my mom was first diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and it pretty much came out of nowhere and kind of hit the whole family like a ton of bricks.
So Maureen, at her mother's urging, took a simple genetic test and learned that she carries the BRCA2 genetic mutation, one of the so-called breast cancer genes. That discovery changed her life.
When I got the call, I felt like I got a cancer diagnosis and dodged a bullet at the same time.
Having a BRCA1 or 2 mutation increases the likelihood, especially for women, to develop both breast and ovarian cancer.
Dr. Jennifer Klemp is the Associate Director of KU Cancer Center's Breast Cancer Survivorship Center, one of the only centers of its kind in the country.
I really do consider them lucky when we do find a mutation. They're empowered with information so that we can educate them on what that risk looks like, and then there are a number of options in how to manage risk.
Ready?
11, 10, 9.
After multiple surgeries, including a double mastectomy, painful recoveries, and early menopause, Maureen is confident she has a future free from breast or ovarian cancer. Dr. Klemp says the odds are now definitely in Maureen's favor.
So by having preventive mastectomies, for instance, you can reduce the risk for developing breast cancer by greater than 90%. You can also reduce the risk by removing the ovaries by greater than 95%.
Yet even as Maureen has peace of mind about her own health, she now wonders and worries what the future holds for her 3 young daughters.
My second grader, Ellen, who is like an old soul, and she just can read people really well, just looked at me and said, she knew that my mom had gone through surgeries, and she saw that I was, and she said, Mom, am I going to have this? And I thought, oh, I hope not. I truly hope not.
Well, NCI designation is a research designation and is considered the gold standard for a cancer center. We're often asked what impact achieving it will have on the quality of cancer care. That's a question best answered by one of our patients.
I think I've got a story to tell.
You don't have to know Joyce Cheatham for long to know that faith plays a big role in her life. Faith in her religion. Faith in her doctors at the University of Kansas Hospital.
My care was just excellent.
And faith in that small voice inside her. Plagued by persistent abdominal pains, Joyce pressed her physician for answers.
So I went to my doctor and I told my doctor, listen, you've got to find out what's going on. Something's wrong and I need to find out what it is.
That something wrong turned out to be ovarian cancer, caught in the nick of time before its spread was uncontrollable. All because Joyce listened to what her body was telling her. Despite urging from her family and friends that she look into NCI-designated cancer centers like MD Anderson and the Mayo Clinic, Joyce chose KU Cancer Center for her care.
I decided, no, I didn't need a second opinion. I had the confidence in KU and that I was going to go forward.
And go forward she did, with expert care from gynecologic oncologist Dr. Evelyn Reynolds.
She's a wonderful patient. I mean, she has a great attitude. She is very motivated, and that, that can only come from within.
After talking it over with Dr. Reynolds and her family, Joyce decided to enroll in a clinical trial, something she says makes her feel part of something bigger than herself.
I feel as though I will have been part of the cure, to try to help others and help myself, as well as helping others to find treatment alternatives that will be effective and safe.
Gavin Delk is your typical 4-year-old. But inside Gavin's little body, his blood cells are waging war on one another. You can't tell by looking, but Gavin has cancer.
What do you have? Leukemia.
You're just looking at your child and wondering if they're going to die.
According to his oncologist at Children's Mercy Hospitals and Clinics, Dr. Maxine Hetherington, her patients call her Dr. Max, Gavin is getting better, thanks to a strict chemotherapy regimen.
The medicines that Gavin's receiving right now, one of them there's no IV formulation available commercially. So he doesn't have any options. There's only pill form.
Because oral chemo drugs can have a horribly bitter taste, many parents, including Gavin's, try to mask the taste by crushing up the chemo pill on their kitchen counters, then mixing it with something sweet. Dr. Kathleen Neville of Children's Mercy explains why parents handling chemo pills like this is extremely dangerous.
So when parents crush chemotherapy on their counter, number one, they're being exposed to the chemotherapy. And number two, even more importantly, if you're getting these drugs for 2 to 3 years, you don't really know what dose you're getting. So how much is left on the counter, how much is in the chocolate syrup that you mixed with, and how much is your child actually getting?
To address this problem, researchers at KU Cancer Center are teaming up with their peers at Children's Mercy in a collaborative effort unlike any in the country. By leveraging their combined expertise in drug development and pediatric cancer, together they're doing what normally takes 15 years in a large pharmaceutical company.
The bottom line, to discover and develop a new drug or a drug product, it takes a village, and one academic institution can't do it.
Within the last 3 years, KU Cancer Center's Dr. Scott Weir and his team in Lawrence and Kansas City, Kansas, have played a role in advancing an astounding 6 new cancer drug therapies from the lab into clinical trials in patients. KU's rich tradition in drug development differentiates KU Cancer Center from other cancer centers across the country. One example is Taxol, one of the most important cancer drugs to become available over the last 20 years. It was formulated by Dr. Val Stella at KU's School of Pharmacy.
Our vision is to become one of the top, if not the top cancer center in advancing new cancer drug therapies from the bench to the bedside.
Meanwhile, Gavin's mom now focuses on making sure her son leads as normal a life as possible.
He's a little boy. And he just needs to, he needs to have fun like every other little 4-year-old. And he needs to not have to worry about whether or not he's going to make it to kindergarten or something like that.
Watch for cars.